This idea that they owe you everything is nonsense. You hire them to do a job, you provide the training, you provide the rewards, you help them do a great job. And if they leave you, you should keep that relationship going.
Welcome back to another ATFW Vault episode, where we revisit some of the most valuable conversations we've had with leaders, founders, and innovators across the fitness and wellness industry. In this episode, we're pulling together insights from three very different voices who each have shaped the industry in their own way. You'll hear from Joe De Sena, founder of Spartan Race, Pete Holman, inventor of the TRX Rip Trainer and Nautilus Glute Drive, and Alan Leach, CEO of Westwood Club and one of the industry's most respected voices in sales and marketing. Let's start with Joe De Sena.
There were at least 5,000 times I wanted to quit, but I don't have quit in me. So, what would the average person do? I say to myself, the average person would quit. I don't want to be average, so we're not quitting. The real tough time, they were doing a cover story in the bankruptcy section about how Spartan probably wasn't going to make it. It was good clickbait for them. For the life of me, I couldn't understand how that was helpful to the world. Here I am trying to get people motivated, and they're, taking my legs out from under me. But I remembered that in your darkest time is usually when naysayers show up and they pile on. And if you could just get through that, you'll be okay. Number one, I'm a believer that we've got limited time. And so any chance we get to multitask and get a workout and take stairs instead of escalators in airports or carry around something heavy, any chance we get is a home run. So stand while you're at work. But specific to that kettlebell was a story on the farm where I helped a gentleman go from 696 pounds down to 265 pounds. And in doing so, I told him I would carry weight as he lost weight. So that turned into a 100-pound sandbag that I was carrying everywhere around the farm in Vermont. Ultimately, the 100 pounds was too much to carry. They wouldn't let it on a plane on my way to Tokyo, the sandbag. So when I landed in Tokyo, I said to my wife, would you mind ordering a kettlebell, but let's make it reasonable. Make it like a 20-pound kettlebell. I'll just carry this thing around. And by accident, we ordered 20 kilograms, which is 42 pounds. And so that became my 3-year cross to bear that you met me with was my kettlebell. I just don't appreciate lazy. I don't do well with it. I don't want to be around it. I think it's incredibly attractive, hard work. I think we like it in books and movies and in real life. Those folks that lean in and get it done and grind their whole life. And I just don't understand sitting on a beach or sitting on a couch and, wasting your life away in front of a screen. I love to just get after it.
Pete Holman.
This was literally just a passion project for this one clinic. And then somebody that was a business person said, you should produce these. I was like, huh? And that's how it started. And so I said, all right, well, maybe I'll make, 10 and see if I can sell them at a trade show. That was my first URSA trade show. If you've ever been to a trade show, there's one called URSA in North.
My first visit will be this March.
Oh,
yeah.
I will. We got to talk. I'll see you there. It's called the International Health and Racket Sport Association trade show. And back in the day, it was all for racket sports, racquetball and squash and things like that. And over the years, it's morphed into, it's all the latest and greatest fitness equipment. So if you're into fitness, it's
I'm going to the candy store.
It's like Disneyland. It is really quite cool. And they have competitions and prizes, and you can test out sometimes even prototype equipment, and people get feedback. And so I took, 10 or 12 units to URSA. It was in the middle of a blinding snowstorm. I'll never forget. I rented a U-Haul. I pack up the U-Haul. There's a foot of snow on the U-Haul, like a truck.
Yeah.
And the next day, I'm like, are you kidding me? Drive to San Diego from Aspen, Colorado, which was, took me a couple days. Unloaded all my stuff, sold out. One guy bought 3 racks. He was a physio, and he had a clinic, and he said, I'm buying all 3. And so I sold out of the product, and it was just a great, kind of great ego boost. However, then this was 2008, and the economy collapsed, housing prices, everything collapsed, and steel prices doubled, gas prices doubled. And what happened for me to produce the product, it would cost twice as much, and I kind of walked away from it with my tail between my legs. But I learned, it was almost like a master class in business.
You got a taste for it.
I got
too.
a taste for it, and I learned about product inventory. I learned about website design and development. I learned about manufacturing and fulfillment and kitting and shipping and all the costs and how to box things up. And it was, my head was spinning after that. And it wasn't too long later that I invented the TRX Rip Trainer.
How old were you at this first invention now?
I was older. I mean, I was in my, so let me think here. I was mid-30s.
Okay, that's still young because
Yeah,
that's
well,
where I'm at.
Yeah, no, but
I
I'm
know.
saying some
But
of
yeah,
the folks
for
are
sure.
watching are like in their 20s, early 30s, and maybe you haven't done anything that you feel super proud to hang your hat on yet. It's like, give yourself time, folks.
Yes,
Like,
that's why I ask
come
it,
on.
and I appreciate you sharing because I'm like, oftentimes it's exactly that. You turn a certain age and you're like, well, I'm done now. And then there's all these incredible stories of people even in their 70s bringing things to life. And you're like, fuck, it doesn't end unless you decide it has, basically.
One thing you look at as you get further down the line in your career is most of us in this industry are trying to fundamentally help people with their health, their wellness, and their vitality, right? We want them to feel better, feel invigorated, feel empowered, have more energy, have better interpersonal relationships, have more confidence. And how do we do that? We typically do it through one-on-one. Like I did it through one-on-one training, one-on-one physical therapy, and it was great. It was wonderful. But at some point, you're like, man, I want more. Like I want to help more people. And how do I do that? Well, maybe I could create some equipment or write a book or write articles or do podcasts where you're spreading your wings a little bit. And so I'm very proud of some of my accomplishments. When I get an Instagram post from Istanbul, Turkey, of somebody on the Glute
Yeah.
drive, I'm like, are you kidding me? Istanbul, Turkey? I don't even know where that is. You know, Beograd, Serbia, these places all across the world. So that's my mission now is now I got a taste of it. I'm like, what else can I do? How else can I impact the world?
Alan Leach.
People that have worked for me over the years, they're very good now as well. And they, when they worked with me several years, they've gone and worked for the competition and, and they've done very, very well. And they'd still call me and because they know if you stick to the basics and get them right first, do not fall for the latest shiny object. If there is a new shiny object, research it and you're not going to die because you were a little bit slow taking off with it. Actually, in my experience, it's the people that jumped on these things too quickly, they got badly burnt. And a perfect example is pay-per-click advertising, because the most intelligent people on the planet still did not know, is this a good investment, a bad investment? And even if it is a good investment, you need to know what you're doing or you'll just throw money down the drain. So I'm a firm believer, spend the money, but make sure you're getting the return on it all the time. But when you're in it as long as I are, tend to know what works and what doesn't. But when I say to somebody, I say, look, do you understand really when you talk about digital marketing, what most people are talking about? And I say, what you're really going to study is how to make two of the most richest companies in the world richer. Because when they talk about digital marketing, what you're really talking about is advertising. It's not digital marketing. It is advertising with two companies, Facebook and Google. You're advertising. And so that's what you're doing. And you can try free advertising through search engine optimization or posting on Facebook. And trust me, they're going to cop on quick enough and they'll make it more difficult for you. But generally, you're paying those people more money. And those two companies have shareholders, and those shareholders want a return on their investment. And when you tell people like that over 98% of Facebook's revenue comes from advertising. That's why, they have huge PR juggernauts to convince you that you are being left behind if you don't pay them money. Now, that's not to say it's bad.
Alan Leach.
And I always say this sometimes, and it's not to do with sales or marketing, it's to do with management. And where some people get it wrong, and it's Peter Drucker. You probably know Peter Drucker, and he would say that, and I'm not going to say it's not verbatim, but you get the gist of it, that no employee owes any employer loyalty. And what he was talking about is that this idea that an employer employee relationship be loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. And he said, it is nonsense. They owe you good work for the money you pay and to deliver a good work ethic and do the job that needs to be done, because this idea that they owe you everything is nonsense. You hire them to do a job, you provide the training, you provide the rewards, you help them do a great job, and if they leave you, you should keep that relationship going. So he would say, and that has always stuck with me, this idea that they have to be loyal to you is just nonsense. Hire them to do a job and then let them do the job, and if they move on someday, that's great too, and you shouldn't try and own them.
Stay fit, stay informed, keep your fitness business in shape. This is the ATFW podcast by Chrissy Van. Find us on LinkedIn, like, share, and follow.